actually interested in entrepreneurship, and how many of you are actually attending this because you have? How many of you are attending because you're interested in entrepreneurship? Okay, that's it. The rest of it's class you have to take. Okay. Um, Considering there are very few of you, do you want me to talk about the seeds of should I talk why entrepreneurship is good for women? Okay, let's look at it this way. I started my career in corporate, right? I was the perfect corporate person. I worked in some of the best companies, like Kaiser and all of L&T. Let's talk about the big companies in India and abroad. I worked in those companies. So, okay, I will take this. So, sorry, I tend to walk and talk. So, what what is it that inspired me to get into entrepreneurship? Right? Like everybody, very nice job, pushy corporate job. Only problem working till 3 in the night. Right? If you want a good work-life balance, then entrepreneurship is a good option for a woman. Because you decide how much you want to put in. Right? That's what I thought. Then I started my first company. And I realized I'm putting more hard work than I do in my corporate life. Because at corporate, some boss was there to take care of. Right? But here it's your baby. You do the work. But still, at the end of the day, being an entrepreneur is much more rewarding, much more inspiring in a way, much more fulfilling to be an entrepreneur. Because one, you do what you love, right? When you choose entrepreneurship, you're choosing a field that you love. You're not going to go and do something you don't like. So whatever is the field that you choose is something that you love. Second, most importantly, you will put in the effort that is required for that. You're not listening to somebody else tell you what to do. Right? You're doing what is required for your business. You're doing what is required according to your brain, your thinking, your skill set. You're not listening to somebody else tell you what to do. And that's very lot of fun. Believe me, it's a lot of fun. Once you work in corporate life for about 10, 15 years, you realize I want to do where nobody's telling me what. Yes, it's a little scary. It's a little troublesome, but at the end of it, it's worth it. Right? So there is a lot which is to be offered in an entrepreneurship career. Right? I have I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have started 2 companies. I have sold one company. I have kind of quit the other company thanks to COVID. But I've made enough money now that I invest with other startups. Right? One thing I feel bad about when I see startups, because I see a lot of startups, and for me, as a woman personally, I want to see more women in startups. I want to see more women-led companies. Shall I give you a statistic? Out of all the entrepreneurship companies, not just startup, business companies, anything, in India, only 14.5% are women-led, which means minimum 51% is owned by women. Only 14%. We have 50% of the population. Why is it that only 14% is women? It's not that we don't have the brains. It's not that we don't have the drive. It's not that we don't have the capability. So why is it that we are only 14%? And out of that 14%, at least 4-5% is because the husband has registered the company in the wife's name for some government scheme ka benefit. Right? So mostly it is, let's say 10 to 12% is what is women entrepreneurs, owned and run by women entrepreneurs. Yes, that is changing now. The recently registered, you're seeing about 20-25% year on year. That is the kind of percentage of women that you have. But still, it's not 40-45% that we want to see. Right? If you look at an engineering college or an MBA college, it's almost 35-40% women. Right? When I went to IIT, we were 13 women in the batch of 365. We're just 13 women in the batch of 365. And ours was a big girls' batch. So my senior batch had like 6 people, 8 people, things like that. So Now, when you have that kind of this thing, now is a chance to take it and become entrepreneurs. And now there are so many government schemes, there's so much of help that is offered by the government for entrepreneurship. When I first set up my first company, the term entrepreneurship was you have the money in your bank, then you start something. No schemes, nothing were there. Now there is a chance for you to start your own with government help. But I would still say keep enough money in your bank account before you start. Because you need 3 years ka paisa. Any business will need 3 years to succeed. Minimum. Unless you're doing trading, in which case, first year itself will make profits. Otherwise, any business, any startup, anything will take minimum of 3 years to make profit. Amazon has still not made money. Amazon is still loss making. It's a $1 trillion company, but it's still loss making. For 15, 20 years, it's been around, but still loss making. So you can imagine what others will make money or not make money. So then, if you want to start a business, how do you start the business? I'm sure you've gone through all of that, right? How do you start a business? How do you, all of that sessions you've already had, right? Okay, so then let's talk about where can the government help you, right? So when you do entrepreneurship, there are 3 things that you require. You need to start your business somewhere, right? You need, let's say this is what I want to try out, right? So there are a lot of pre-incubation programs by governments. You can go walk into any incubator in this country and they have a mandate of at least 10 to 15% women-led startups. Right? So walk into any incubator and say, I want to do a pre-incubation program. What do I mean by pre-incubation program? From having, I want to do entrepreneurship, but I have no idea what to do. Test drive. Basically, test drive whether you want to do entrepreneurship or not for 3 months to 4 months, 6 months. Check out whether entrepreneurship is for you. 6 months you can try. While working, you can try. Right? As a student, you can try from college also. Right? I'm sure your college will support you. But after you graduate and you want to do something, while you're working, for 6 months, you can go to your incubator and do a pre-incubation. Right? Most of the times, this is free to do. You can check out markets. You will get experts to talk to you. You can see whether your tech will work. You'll have mentors whom you can talk to. So this pre-incubation is offered by most incubators and in most cases it's free because the government sponsors this. Right? So this is pre-incubation. So when you have zero idea and I want to try something, I would welcome you all to VHub. We do pre-incubation every 3 months. We do one new set of pre-incubation. You can come and look at the pre-incubation program we want. I run the program, so I know the program. But there is this, for example, the pre-incubation we run at VHub is sponsored by Australian government. In other places, it's sponsored by others. There are CSR from the companies, and also there's money available for pre-incubation. Now that you have an idea and you want to start a company, that's when you get into the incubation phase. Right? At incubation phase, for developing the idea, there is something called a Startup India Seed Fund, where up to 20 lakhs you can get for developing your business idea. So if you want to do some research on your project, right? If you want to develop the product. So it doesn't matter whether it's a tech product or a non-tech product. Even for food, for cloth, for anything, as long as a little different. You get up to 20 lakhs of grant money. But if you're in engineering, for example, if you want to do electronics products, if you want to do products in biotech, right? There are different grants available for that from different departments. So, for example, the department for biotech, there are 2 grants available. One is called Nidhi Prayas, where you can walk into any incubator which is into biotech, and they will support you for testing, for everything, and plus give you 5 lakh grant. Right? 5 lakh minimum grant. That is just for your running expenses. For one person's research and things like that, you get that 5 lakhs grant. You also have buyback where you again get up to 20-25 lakhs grant. Now, these grants are not women specific. right? There are some women-specific things that happen after you have developed your product. But till this, there is no women-specific scheme. It's for everybody, right? Advantage is most incubators and most people who want to give away grants look at least 20% women hone chahiye. So the chances of a woman-led entrepreneur startup getting a grant is higher than a non-woman-led grant startup. I should have at least 20% women share, right? Startup India Seed Fund also tells minimum 20%, minimum 25% women entrepreneurs should get it. So that there is no specific that has to go to a woman, but minimum 25% try and give it to a woman. So they keep searching for women entrepreneurs. Then once you are reaching a level 1 where your product is more or less ready, right? And you want to now start selling in the market, right? You want to test the market first, right? You will not go pehle jaakar retail stores, but you can't put it in. You will go once friends and family, you will start selling. You will start selling it to some neighbors, some neighborhood store, something like that. You will start. At that stage, again, Startup India Seed Fund gives you 50 lakhs for just marketing, right? For checking out whether the market is there for you. You can do a lot of this. You don't have to be doing manufacturing. If you're just outsourcing the manufacturing, like there is somebody who will manufacture it for you and give it to you, right? And you just sell it. Just for selling, you can get up to 50 lakhs of grant under Startup India Seed Fund. You can also get a lot of grants like BioTech grant up to 5 crores if it's a biotech product. So if you want to sell some biotech product or a pharmacy product or anything which is bio, life sciences, anything of that sort, up to 5 crores with BioTech. You can also get similarly for electronic products from DST, from Departments of Science and Technology. That goes up to 20 crores. If you are developing any India-based, made in India electronics, you can get up to 20 crores also. Because everything we are now importing from China, right? If you convert any part of that and make it India-made, India-designed, India this thing, they're willing to give you up to 20 crores for development of the product and sale of products. For the first few sales, for commercialization of your business, you'll get money. Now that you've commercialized your business, right? And now you want to set up, let's say, a manufacturing plant you want to set up, or you want to set up something else. In which case, there are about 1,001 loans, grants, and things like that, right? Starting from State Bank of India. There's something called as a Stand-up India loan, right? Which is only for women. This is where only for women starts, right? Stand-up India loan is only for women and SC/ST. You get up to 10 setting up a manufacturing unit and for working capital, right? For buying raw materials, for some labor cost and all of that, you get up to 10 crores. 1 crore to 10. This is Stand-up India. Then you have Swayam Nidhi, and you have a lot of other schemes, which are each bank. If you go to their bank website, you will get big list of loans which are applicable for women entrepreneurs, right? Central Bank has got, Punjab National Bank has got, SIDBI has. I would suggest going to standupindia.com, right? And you will get a list of bank loans which are available, which are specific for women. And of course, if you're not women, also you have other list. But for specific for women, you get a list. Whether Central Bank offers, Punjab National Bank offers, HDFC offers. There is a Mahila Bank which offers only for women. For self-help groups, there are other loans. So if you're a farmer, if you're the farmer's daughter, and if your father is part of an FPO, then if you're willing to work with the FPO, Department of Agriculture will give you a lot of loans. Especially for a daughter of a farmer, you get a lot of loans. As long as you're willing to work at the village level, not in the city, but at the village level. There's a lot of loans there applicable there. Okay, so this is basic kind of schemes which are available from the government. One thing that's also available from state governments is if there is a state government park for industrial park, minimum 10 to 15% of the land is allocated for women entrepreneurs. So you can get land at a subsidized rate for setting up your factories. Right? In Telangana, 10% is set aside for women entrepreneurs. So any industrial park anywhere in Telangana, you'll get 10% ka land is set aside for women. You can go and take it at a subsidized rate. You have to pay for it, but thoda kam. Compared to market prices, you have to pay a little. So this is general about what kind of schemes are available. I mean, I can talk for another 15-20 minutes, but I'm sure all of you will get bored. Right? But my question now is, if you have specific questions, if you have an idea of what you want to do, I can tell you what schemes can be applicable to you. Right? Where can you go for more information? Where can you go for more details? Right? But if I talk generally, I can talk. I have a presentation which I can show and I can go boring. Which is why the first question I asked you was, how many of you are actually interested in entrepreneurship? Right? So if you have any specific questions of where can I get money? Where can I get help? Right? There are schemes in the government even for you to go abroad. Right? There are schemes of how you can go abroad, get yourself trained and come back. There are schemes for going abroad and selling your products abroad. So depending on what is the idea that you have. Right? So some of you said you wanted to start something. So talk to me about your startup and I will tell you whether I can think of people who can fund you. Starting a school. Okay. One thing, education, nobody funds. Unless it's an ed tech, nobody funds. Unless you go to, there is a one place they fund for, because schools at the end of the day are supposed to be NGOs. They are supposed to be non-profit. So there's no point in funding a non-profit, right? So there is a school, getting the name of the organization, but you can search online, loans for schools. There's just one organization, which is kind of a bank for schools, right? It will fund you for building and for land. Rest of it you'll have to pay for yourself, but building and land you can get it. What else? But I would suggest do something in EdTech because there are enough schools now in India. You had something?
There are enough schools in this year. Wherever you go, in every day you have.
If you have something to improve the quality of the school, please do something. My first company was an EdTech company, which I sold nicely. I made a lot of money in that, so which is why now I'm able to afford funding others. So what else? Can you name others? Don't mind me, I'm eating. This is my lunch. Funny. Cosmetics, if you're willing to do Ayurvedic, regular cosmetics. Yeah, कितने brands हो गए? कितने brands है अभी तुम बोलो? If I walk into health and clothes, there are like 10,000 brands. Sugar, plum, they're not getting funded. How will you get funded, ma? Think something. If you're willing to do Ayurvedic, the Ministry of Ayush sponsors. Ministry of Ayush has got schemes where you can, for development of cosmetic, for development of anything Ayurvedic based, they will fund you not only for India sales, but they will fund you for abroad sales. They want to push the Ayurvedic concept across the country, so they are funding quite a bit. Ministry of Ayush, you can look them up. And then, if you want to set up a factory, again, the banks consider giving you a loan because there is a subsidy from the government. So about 25 to 30%, the government, you don't have to pay back the loan, that subsidy comes from the government. What else? Boutiques, yeah, it's a trading. Stand-up India loan will be applicable to you, but other than that, nothing else. Unless you're willing to train women from, let's say, self-help groups, you want to work with them. So there is a startup which is doing this. What they are doing is they get it stitched with a self-help group. So women who are from a poor area, they cut and give it to them and they get it stitched there and they bring it back. For that self-help group, they got all their got that machine, stitching machines, right? They got it funded. And so the boutique didn't have to spend the money on the stitching machines. And these people give it to them for stitching and they get it back and then they sell it. So there's a higher profit margin that you get. Pardon me? Handicraft. Okay, now that's my favorite area. Handicrafts is huge funding. There is like crazy funding. There is handicrafts, especially if you're going to work with, there's a scheme called Spurti by the government, SFURTI, which is funding for regeneration of traditional handicrafts, right? Under that scheme, if you have over 100 artisans in any area, the government will help set up to 5 crores in the government grant will help you set up a place where you can get all of them, you can get them trained, you can get the material for them. Government will help you market them. Government will pick it up from the G20 meets and everything like that. So all of that, if you get under this 50 scheme, right? That up to 5 crores. You get the funding up to 5 crores, and this is grant. So you don't never have to pay back the government for machines, for a warehouse, for everything you get funded, including training of the artisans, right? So that's a Spurti scheme. You also get money for exhibiting in and around India. For 2 exhibitions around India, you get entire cost paid back to you, including your transportation cost. You also get once a year abroad. They will take you abroad to exhibitions abroad and they will B2B connections for you, which is basically connect you to some handicraft dealers there. So that you can sell your product there. No, it was a room. Exhibition sales. No. It's fine. Even the government takes cost. You just have to do it. And if you sell, you sell. This, if you want to know, go to mymsme.gov.in. Spooty scheme is there on it. PMS scheme, which is the domestic market scheme, is there on it. And international cooperation, ICE scheme is the international scheme. So you can go check it out. All these schemes are there on mymsme.gov.in. My MSME, MSME. Medium, small, micro enterprises. mymsme.gov.in. What else? I thought they were engineering students. They're no tech. Only MBA students. There's no rule which says MBA students can't do tech. For example, 2 of my best startups that I'm working with right now are student entrepreneurs who are MBA students who started tech companies. And they are doing deep tech. They caught hold of engineering people who are doing their coding, but these people are running the company. You don't need to be an engineer to start a tech company. I want to see more women in tech here. Traditional, कितने लोग करोगे? Handicrafts is something different because there are not many people doing handicraft, women especially. Because this is something that I've been doing research recently on. Out of 80 to 85% people in handicraft industry are men. Selling, not making, selling. 80 to 85% are men. Even handlooms, which are sarees and stuff like that, even there it's women, it's men. In fact, a friend of the person I did a research for, she's now selling at Target Kantha work shirts. Kantha work is basically embroidery, which is done by tribals in Madhya Pradesh. She's getting that work done by the tribal women, and now she's selling it at Target. She's doing about 6.5 crores per annum. Business is there. अगर करना है तो business is there. There's a cousin of mine who's making banana fiber, say boxes, right? She's doing about 1.5 to 2 crores per annum. Just those boxes. And that's made by self-help groups in women. And all of them started with 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs for income, and then they grow. Took them 3-4 years, but they're pro. Tell me if you have an idea, any idea. Don't talk to each other, Papa. Talk to me. I'm standing right in front of you. That's it. No more ideas. Okay. So I think I can conclude my speech for schemes, right? If you want more information, there is standupindia.com, right? On that, you will get to know all the schemes which different state governments and central governments are there on that portal. Any further information, you can contact me at me, right? The other topic I was given was women in social sector. Social sector, what can you do in social sector, right? Now, I think this is one sector that is very good for women, right? Why? What are the social sectors? Can you name the social sectors? Health, education. What else? There are 5 items that come under health in social sector. Agriculture. Hmm? Banking is not social sector. Banking is for everything. Food, I agree. Same. Transportation is so health, education, agri and food. Let's put them together. What are the other two? Which one is a big buzzword nowadays? Everybody is talking about it. Sustainable. Sustainable, climate change. Right? That's another big sector that is being talked about. What else? Not land. Not land. Pardon me, somebody said it. Poverty alleviation, anything that works with the underrepresented part of the society. Right? Poverty alleviation, minority alleviation, anything that you can think of in that segment of this thing, that is the fifth sector. Now that under that sector comes skill development, right? Any such kind of things are there. So why do I think these are good for women? Most of these do not require too much of investment to start, right? Most of them do not require too much of investment. Yes, if you want to build a startup, there is funding required. But otherwise, if you want to do a business in any of these, you do not require too much of money to start. You just have to find a problem in this area and see how you can solve that. Let me give you an example with different in different things. Health, right? Can you think of something that is that's not happening in health? The problem that is there in health that you think can be solved by using entrepreneurship. What is the biggest problem in health in cities? I'm not saying go into the village or anything. In the city. Pardon me? फूड नहीं पहले बोली हेल्थ में बोलो क्या इशू है respiratory problems, vitamin D deficiency, BP, sugar. Health, if you even you just want to start a yoga studio, as basic as starting a yoga studio, somewhere where you just need one room, rent one room like this. Yoga सुबह में, Pilates में, Zumba शाम में. From morning till night, you can do something. Dance afternoon में. Right? As basic as that. Now you add. If I'm having a gym or this thing, people who are coming there want healthy food. right? So I tie up with somebody who can deliver healthy food at my place. So I will now have juices, healthy foods that can be taken away. Small can. I add revenue. People who come to me also want gym clothes, no? Another small space where I can sell only gym clothes, yoga mats, some equipment. Okay? Added one more space. Then think of what else can I add there. I just have to keep an oxygen cylinder for people who want to come and just breathe pure oxygen. This is happening in Delhi. Somebody is doing it. There is this one guy, what he has done is like that size room, right? In each kind of office complex, right? He's setting up, come, sit there, put that oxygen mask, breathe for 15 minutes. For each 15 minutes, you pay 500 rupees. In Delhi, the pollution is so bad, people are actually paying for it. Money, you're making money, right? End of the business, this thing is making money. So in social sector in health, as basic as that you can do. You can set up, of course, you can set up hospitals, clinics. There's a lot you can do in that area, right? You can even start a pharmacy. You can do a lot of work. There is a, for example, there is a company called MedSaman, which is a BF company. What it does is something very simple. You have a lot of these small pharmacy stores, right? Individual pharmacy stores, not Apollo's chain or MedPlus chain or anything. Now, these pharmacy stores, what is the problem they face? As a single person, they cannot compete with the MedPlus at the prices. So, what she has started a business is she aggregated some 200 of them, and now on behalf of the 200, she's negotiating the price. And she supplies to these 200 people at the price that MedPlus or lesser than MedPlus gets. Right? And a lot of these people are smart enough to get next to the hospital and they put up. Right? So now she has a good, she has no cost of rentals, she has no cost of anything, only tech and negotiation. And she supplied to 200 people. Now, of course, the number has gone up to 500. But when she started, it was, she just went and talked, do you want to be part of this? They said, give us at least 5. So she went back to Dr. Reddy's and said, for these 5 pharmaceuticals, for these 200 of pharmacies, I'm the distributor for them. She didn't even build tech at that time. She did this and then she built the tech. She tried it out first and then she built the tech. Right? Again, it's in health sector. So look around you. What is the problem that you're seeing in health? What can you solve the problem? What can you solve? Let's look at education. What can you do in education that's not being done currently? Practical. A lot of companies are doing STEM practicals. Science, technology, engineering and mathematics subjects. They're picking it up and making it practical for school students. Right? Robotics, somebody started science experiments. Right? So what else can you do like that? Practical is a good choice. You can start with one product, 2-3 schools, spread it out. Right? There are a lot of models. If I start talking in education, there are a lot of models because, as I said, my first company was an edtech company. So I have enough research on that. What else can you do? Don't become a Byju's, please. Please don't cheat your customers. But other than that, if you want to do something else, yes. Okay, whoever is recording it, please cut that part out because I might get sued. Okay, so what else can you do in education? Think from pre-education level to MBA, post-MBA, post-PhD. Upgrade, have you heard of upgrade? Upgrade start. What does upgrade do? It's only for people who have graduated, working people. Courses for them, right? and they are minting money. Believe me, Ronnie Screwvala is minting money. Right? At least 200, 300 crore ka business kar raha hai. Of course, he had the money to invest in it, so he is now making more money out of it. But still, Byju started as a tuition center, one tuition center. Right? So there is a lot of choices that are there at education. A preschool, if you want to start, costs you anywhere between 5 to 20 lakhs to start. If it is offline, if it's an actual preschool, 5 to 20 lakhs you require. Because you have to pay the teacher, you have to pay the building, you have to rent a house. It costs you between 5 to 20 lakhs. A full-fledged school is at least a crore and a half. But if you do it online, a tuition online, it's less than 50,000, 60,000 rupees. You can start your website and start with your near and dear, your apartment complex. Then unke relatives. There is a singing teacher in India who started with giving music classes during COVID. Right? He was charging 1,000 rupees per student. Online, 1,000 rupees. He then got somebody's relative in US. Right? He started charging $50. How much is $50? 4,000 rupees. Right? Right now, from morning 6 o'clock for in US time to evening 6 o'clock US time, he's continuously got students and he charges $100 per student. And he takes only 2 classes a week. Right? So he is just do a mental calculation of how much money he's making. At least 50, 60 lakhs per month he's making. One person teaching music online. He's good. I'm not saying he's not good. He's a good teacher. He's a good singer. So he's making that kind of money. But you don't have to make 50, 60 lakhs a month. You can make 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs a month. There is a startup called Artfils, ARTFILS. Right? She is a woman entrepreneur who started teaching Kathak online. Right? She got funded. And now if you see YouTube videos and all come for her, she's now teaching classical songs, Kathak, all sorts of other dances online. And she got funded, VC funded, venture capital funded, which means they're expecting her to grow 10 times minimum. There is choice. There is a startup which is teaching painting online, right? Different types. So each time you want to learn some type of painting, they will send you a kit, right? And then you go online and you learn how to use the kit. So you want to try what kind of painting? Let's say Madhubani style of painting, right? Madhubani style of painting you want to try. A kit will come to your house, and then you go online and see how you can do it, and you can make a Madhubani painting which you can put up in your house. For each of these kits and training programs, it is around 2,000 rupees. She started selling at 40, 50 pieces a month. Now she's doing more than 200 to 300 pieces a month. And this is in like 2 years' time. And she has about 8 different kits. It's a 1.4 billion population. Most of them housewives sitting at home. Can't you find something to do for them? That's education. Education is vast. There's so much you can do with that. Right? After education, what is the third one? Agriculture. Now, agriculture mein to from below the ground to above the sky, you can. There are drones which are surveying lands and telling you how good the land is. There is actually one startup I'm mentoring. They are trying to figure out if there is a pest. They are doing visual scanning. If there is a pest, it will spray as pesticide. Otherwise, it will not spray the pesticide. So there's about 95% reduction in the pesticide usage. Right? There is somebody who's doing, there's a woman entrepreneur. She has developed a radar which if you go out in the sea, it will tell you exactly where the fish is, how much fish is there, and whether the weather is right for going and catching that fish. It'll also warn you if you're going into Sri Lankan waters. And as basic as people who are doing soil testing, right? There is a startup which is just goes to each this thing. It does soil testing and tells you whether the testing works or not. What is required for your farm? What is the fertilizer required? How much you require? Can you convert to organic? Because some farms cannot convert to organic. The land is dead. So you require at least 5-6 years before you can convert to organic. So if you want to convert to organic, what do you have to do? It does all, it tells you all of that. And they literally have one person per village in their area who's doing this testing. They have employed over 2,000 people. That is 2,000 villages they have that they're doing this work in. There is somebody who's developed a technology for farming on water. So in Bengal and Odisha, you have a lot of these small lakes. Every house will have one lake behind there. Because they do a lot of fish. They eat a lot of fish. So they catch their own fish and they eat. So on this, how do you grow rice? How do you grow vegetables? Or fish are living under the ground, under the water, right? On top of the water, there's nothing to do. So there's somebody who's put it there. A kind of a weaving of weed bag ka jo, you've seen the jute bag ka, na, which is weaved. They have used a material like that with some soil and sand over it, and then you have plant. You have put vegetables, anything that requires a decent amount of water. So green leafy vegetables and stuff like that. They have put. Another agri startup. There's a company called Deep Rooted. How many of you have seen Deep Rooted? It's very famous in Hyderabad. Deep Rooted.
Fresh vegetables.
Yeah, fresh vegetables, and within 24 hours of the vegetables being cut, it will be delivered to your house. Country Delight. Everybody's seen Country Delight, right? What is Country Delight? Farm fresh milk which can be tested and delivered. How much money are they making that they can do so many advertisements? And what is it they're doing? Collecting it from the farmers, delivering it at your house. Compare the price compared to what you buy that Vijaya or Heritage on the road, this thing that you get home. There is three times the price. But people are willing to pay for it. Because it says that milk is that fresh, that good, unpasteurized and all of that. Organic milk and all of that. So people 3 times that money. Anything, there's one person in Kerala, he said, and this is now everywhere they're doing it, but this person was the first one. He set up a shop. Only thing, organic foods are available. Only organic products are available. It's kind of a combination of sustainable plus organic, right? He'll get it directly from farmers for farming. So there's an agri component to it. Also, you cannot get plastic in that entire shop. There's no plastic available. Even if you want to buy rice, right? You have to take a dabba from. He will weigh the dabba, then he will put the rice as much as you want in that dabba, and the difference in the weight you pay for. So for wheat, dal, everything you take the dabba. Oil ke liye bhi you take a dabba. If you take a plastic ka dabba, he will cut 10% extra, charge you extra 10%. So take a steel ka dabba or glass ka dabba. Right? And he will sell you those dabbas also. He's making money on the dabbas also. Right? That guy in Cochin does over 5.5 crores per month, per annum. I'm serious. He does 5.5 crores per annum. And that is only in Cochin, where people are very confused. Believe me, I'm a Malayali. So if you get enough in Hyderabad, where there is a lot of, let's say, Jubilee Hills or Banjara Hills area, you set up a shop like this. How much money can you make? Easily. So that's another business idea. Sooner or later, that entire Gachipoli financial district, that area will be like that only. Everybody wanting organic, everybody wanting to pay 10 times the money for basically the same thing.
You put the name organic, everybody.
Hey, but if you put the name organic, you have to prove that it's organic. To get that organic label, you have to get yourself certified. But that's okay. You are not getting certified. The product guy who is making the product is getting it certified. You just ask him certification, though I will put your product inside the shop. So that is agri food. This is the year of millets, right? This is the International Year of Millets. Did you know India is the second largest exporter of millets? We're the first, the highest producer of millets. Why are we second? We produce 10 times the second person in the world. But we're still the second exporter. We eat so much ourselves, yes. 1.4 million people will eat. But why is it that we're not sending more out? In fact, food waste, one of the biggest wastages in India. Your tomatoes, 60% of your tomatoes are wasted. If you put up a shop just to make sun-dried manufacturing, for just making sun-dried tomatoes and ketchup, or just pureed tomatoes, or you get those plastic, this dabas with tomato puree in it. There's so much money to be made by exports. Italy alone is still searching for there's a difference of almost 30% in their demand and supply. Italy alone. There's a place in Rayalaseema where they have started Rayalaseema, Karnataka, that border, right? One guy started. Have you heard of gherkins? You've seen gherkins, right? These small cucumbers, this size cucumbers. Yeah, they're called gherkins. They are in abroad, they are pickled. They put salt water with vinegar, they put it and they sell it. It's big in West US and all of that. One guy from this Rayalaseema area went there. He saw this and he's like, this is our cucumber only, but small. He picked up some seeds, he came back to India. He started on his 2-acre farm, he started to check whether these gherkins can be sold. Now there are acres and acres of farmland which gherkins go out of India. India is the biggest exporter of gherkins. They have set up factories to make that pickled gherkins which go out. Domino's, in fact, buys gherkins from India. Maximum potato chips are made in India. Not for internal consumption, but for export. And think, have any of you been abroad? Okay, so there, every small corner you will find one Chinese food store or a Japanese food store or a Thai food store. Indian food stores not that many. Why? Indian food is good tasting. And foreigners like eating Indian food. Now the Indian food is also famous. Why is Indian food not sold abroad so much? No, you can reduce the spices a little and sell it. No, that is not the issue. First of all, spices should be available there. No? Even though we export 80% of the spices in the country, the spices still is not enough for what is to have a shop in here. For example, Dimag kaam nahi kar raha tha, so I went to this with my brothers in US. He works in New York. So from there, I went to this Indian store will be there. And I went and asked him, how much is this? So MDH ka dabba. MRP in India is 150 rupees. MRP in US is $150. Not that much, but almost $99. Same dabba. That green dabba is this size dabba is there, no? Garam masala ka dabba or something like that. And I'm like, what nonsense? That means there is so much of market that people are willing to pay for it. Start a spice market, no? There is enough people producing it. All you do is put it together and sell it abroad. Export it. US might be difficult, but export it rest of the world. There is huge, if you can reduce the food wastage in India. The biggest food wastages are grains, rice and wheat grains. There's huge wastage in vegetables, right? There's a huge wastage in flowers. If you can figure out a business in these three areas, there's a huge export market waiting for you. And I mean huge. There is one person who's done, she makes samosas, freezes them, and sells them. She sends out 3 container loads of samosas to US alone. Frozen samosas, 3 container loads. 10 women she manages. They make samosa. One person makes the whatever. The inside fillings. Make the samosa. 6 samosas to a packet. Freeze it. Put it in a container. Send to US. Simple operation. It's not a very difficult operation. And these are not fried samosas, so no oil. These are just frozen at that stage. And you get it frozen, you fry it immediately and you eat it. There are samosas going out that way. There are momos going out that way. French fries going out that way. Think of what else can you do from India. Each district has a product that can be sent out. Right? Your pickles, non-veg pickles, are a big hit in what is the Southeast Asia and Dubai and that Gulf countries. So agri-food, there is huge market. The world's population is going to double. And we can feed those people. Right? Think of that. Think of it that way. Then what else? Next is sustainable. Stick anything sustainable and you'll make 3 times the money. There is a startup that I'm mentoring. They're making agarbattis out of flower waste. You've heard of fool. Doom sticks and all she's making out of waste. Now with some little bit of research is making house cleaning, the Lysol replace all of that with flower waste. Right? There is another person who's just making the home composting bins, right? So that you can compost inside the house. There is people who are making. This girl started making it at home, and then she started selling. Now she's put up a factory, and now she's growing bigger. But she's a college student. 1 year out of college, she started this business. She started selling it in her flats, the flats next door, and each time she kept adding. So now she set up a factory. And if you've seen AHA program, there is AHA channel. There is a program that's going to come called Navy Superwoman, which is Shark Tank for women entrepreneurs. She's going to be on that show. In sustainable, there is so much that can be done. There are women who are always late, right? There's a lady who developed with an Ayurvedic chemical, which she just goes and puts it, and within 3-4 days, the weeds start dying. Right? Just before it dies, she cuts the weeds, gives it to self-help groups which make baskets and bags out of those things. And she makes money on that side. For cleaning up, she gets money from the government. And then once it is done, to keep it clean, she gets again paid. And then she gets paid she gets a contractor to develop around that lake. So then now there's a park, there is something else. And for walking, people will come and pay for it. Then there are small stores where you can sell juice to sell to the early morning people. Make money on that also. So think of it in the environment space. Again, this oxygen will be a nice environment thing. Right? Pollution outside, please come. I will one oxygen to every house. Oxygen inside. There's somebody who's developed a paint which absorbs carbon. Right? So think of it. There is so much of choice available in sustainable, and that's one place where there's not much competition. So sustainable is still a developing space. So there's a lot of thing in that. Last, we come to poverty alleviation. It's normally an NGO space, but if you can find a business model like There's a company called Youngesthan, right? Youngesthan. It works with LGBTQ community, right? It works with them and trains them so that they can start their own businesses. So that they don't beg on the streets, they can start their own business. So they something small, they can even do a tailor, they help them set up a shop. One of them is running a canteen, right? So they get money both from the government and the corporate sector. They also get money. Once these people are set up, they give small loans to these people, loans. And they make a little bit money back from that. Not much. They don't charge huge numbers. They charge about 5-6%. But with that money, they pay to the next person to that. So there are a lot of such things. No. So there is a lot of such things that you can do in all these sectors, right? So think of which sector is your passion, which sector is your interest, right? One thing, if you're interested, tourism is one big sector that you can look at. The government of India pays for you setting up B&Bs in any small village, district. If you can set up an Airbnb, especially if you're anywhere close to hills, beach, hills, anywhere if you're close, any village which has handicrafts, you can set up an Airbnb and the government of India will pay 50% of the money from tourism department. So that's another business that you can think of. Anybody have any questions? Done? My 2 sessions are done then. 2 sessions are done, Baba. Seems none of you had any questions. What do I do? And this social sectors for women entrepreneurship are already done. Okay. I'm fast. But seriously, when we go out for a break, any of you have any questions you want to talk to me personally, we talk. Right? Thank you.